As we wrapped up the 23-24 Premier League season on Sunday with Manchester City winning it for the fourth time in a row, let's take a look back at my initial predictions last August for the Premier League table and stick around for the end for my personal West Ham United Player Awards. The first thing I want to get into is my prediction for the Premier League table, and I can tell you now, it's a mixed bag of accuracy as you've got some teams all over the place and some teams that were very close to how they actually finished in real life. So let's take a look at it. So, starting from bottom to top, in 20th place, I put Sheffield United, a completely accurate prediction as they did actually finish 20th, conceding over 100 goals and only getting 16 points. Absolutely appalling for a Premier League team. Then in 19th place, I put AFC Bournemouth, completely underrating them as they went on to go and finish 12th. So fair play to them for proving me wrong, and they really had quite an exceptional season. Then in 18th, I put Wolves, and they were nowhere near in the end, finishing 14th and having a very good season under Gary O'Neill for the first time. Then in 17th place, I put the Hatters, Luton Town. They ended up going down in 18th place, one place below, and in the end just not having enough quality to stay up. Although they did put up a very good fight and fair play to them with the squad that they've got. 16th place, I put Nottingham Forest. They did go on to finish 17th, technically staying up on the final day. So again, pretty close on that, knowing that they wouldn't get relegated, but would be in a relegation fight. 15th, Crystal Palace, a team that would have stayed in that position or gone lower if they wouldn't have sacked their manager, Roy Hodgson, and brought in the old Frankfurt manager, Oliver Glasner, who has done a brilliant job turning Jean-Philippe Mateta into one of the best strikers in world football. They went on to finish 10th, and fair play to Palace, as is a big turnaround at the club. 14th place, newly promoted Burnley. However, they did go on to finish 19th, getting relegated from the Premier League straight back down to the Championship. Throughout the whole season, they really weren't good enough, but towards the end, they did get a few decent results. But unfortunately for them, it was just too little, too late. 13th place, I got it bang on. It was Fulham. I thought they had a pretty good season, getting some great results along the way. A 5-0 battering of West Ham, a 3-0 home win over Tottenham, a 2-1 home win after title-chasing Arsenal, and a great win away at Old Trafford in the last minute. So, yeah, a pretty good season for Fulham and a perfect prediction from myself. Next up, in 12th, I put Everton, and they did actually go on to finish 15th, but if you give back their 8 points that they got deducted, they actually would have gone on and finished 12th. So, on a technicality, I'm right, but the Premier League table doesn't lie, and I was wrong by 3 places. In 11th, I put Brentford, and they actually finished 16th, but not really at any point were they serious relegation contenders, and by the end of the season, it just turned out to be a normal season that they would have expected a couple of years ago, trying to stay up in the Premier League. In 10th, I put Aston Villa, and I was very wrong as they did actually go on to secure Europe, and not just Europe, Champions League in 4th for the first time since the 1982-83 season. So fair play to them for that, getting some big results this season, doing a double over Arsenal and beating Manchester City, who were both teams that were obviously going for the Premier League title. Yeah, just a great season for Villa, and they did not finish 10th. They did finish 4th. 9th place, bang on again, my own team, West Ham United. I didn't think we'd have an exceptional season, and really, as a whole, we didn't. The first half was a lot better than the second half, and if we would have carried on our form from the first half, we definitely wouldn't have finished 9th. We definitely would have finished higher. But in the end, we just didn't show enough in that second half, and that is why we finished 9th. 8th place, Brighton and Hove Albion, another team that sort of slipped away towards the end of the season in the second half. But yeah, overall would have finished higher, and I put them in 8th, but they did actually indeed finish 11th. 7th place, Newcastle United, once again, bang on. I didn't think that they would have an exceptional season, and they didn't. They went out of the Champions League in the group stage after being drawn into the group of death. A lot of players got injured. Obviously, Tonali got his ban, and one that Newcastle will hope to better in the seasons to come with all the money that they've got and all the transfers that they'll be hoping to make in the summer. 6th place, I put Spurs. They went on to finish 5th, and really at the start of the season, they had won the league in October, and under Ozzy Ange, they thought that they were going to just cruise to the Premier League title. But Tottenham fans, you win the league in May, not in October. So yeah, a pretty good season for Tottenham, and one that you'd expect for the first time in charge for Ange Postecoglou, and they'll probably do better next year. But I can tell you now, they won't win a trophy. 5th place, Chelsea, and by the end I was quite close, as they did actually go on to finish 6th, but throughout the season they were mingling around the sort of mid-table areas and performing very poorly. So thankfully for them, they managed to pick up some results during the end of the season, but I'm really not sure why Pochettino has left. Really confuses me, as it looked like they were going to start to try and turn a corner, and they were beating teams comfortably, but obviously not for Todd Boehly. And yeah, I said they finished 5th. They ended up finishing 6th after being mid-table for most of the season. 4th place, Arsenal. I was kind of wrong on this one, as I didn't think that they would go into another title race season. I thought last year was a little bit of a fluke, and blowing that 8-point lead would have sort of harmed their confidence, but they did actually perform very well this season. There was only a couple of games where they slipped up, which did cost them the title, purely because they didn't really have a striker to finish the job. These being Aston Villa at home, Fulham away, and West Ham at home, I believe, were the key ones. And in the end, yeah, City just always have more, as they won their 4th title in a row. 3rd place, I put Manchester United. I did believe that they would have a good season, and I suppose if they do go and win the FA Cup on Sunday, you can say it's a decent season, as they will still get Europe, but I do think that's very unlikely. And as it stands, they finished 8th with no European football next season, and Ten Hag apparently still fully cemented in the job. Let me know what you think about that. 2nd place, Liverpool. They did actually go on to finish 3rd and were very much title contending for most of the season, but just the wheels kind of fell off as they went into April. And I do think it is quite heavily down to Klopp saying that he was going to leave so early. I think the mental side of it was just too much for everyone at the club, and that is why they didn't go on and win the Premier League title and win those games that were just so important to them. And finally, it's always a safe bet every season. I said Man City would win the title. Of course they did. I don't think it matters what sort of season happens. Man City are going to win it. It's their 4th in a row. Really another remarkable achievement. The first team to ever do that. 4 in a row. And yeah, Man City were just, in the end, the best team, as they always are. Getting the results, not worrying about the performances, but just getting those 3 points home. And that is why they won the Premier League title. So overall, I got 49 points. And if you're not familiar with this point system, it's basically whatever position you said, the difference in the position it actually came out as is the amount of points, and the least points wins. So, for example, I said Arsenal would finish 4th. They finished 2nd. So that's 2 points. And added up all together, I got 49, which I don't think is too bad, considering this season was quite unpredictable. And I did get quite a few teams bang on, including Man City, Newcastle, West Ham and Sheffield United. So here are my West Ham United player awards. My player of the season, or hammer of the year, goes to Jarrod Bowen, just like he did get from the club. I think he's shown his loyalty by signing a 7-year contract, and overall I think he has definitely been one of our best players, and yeah, I would definitely give him my hammer of the year. Next up, we've got the most improved player from the 22-23 season. I think this is Lucas Paquetá. Last season, I don't think he was all that. I mean, towards the end, he did get a lot better, but really, I think this season was where he improved. He got a lot of assists, he was scoring goals, just all-round playing better than he did last year, when I think he found it hard to contribute anything, coming through another country and really expecting a lot with the price tag that he came along with. My unsung hero. This player is someone who I don't think gets enough respect and doesn't get appreciated as much as he should, and I think that is Emerson. I was going to say maybe Edson Alvarez, but I do think Emerson has been so important for us, and there have been a couple of games this season where he hasn't played and we really, really needed him. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Emerson. I think he is a much better option than Cresswell, although obviously Cresswell is getting on a bit. I definitely play Emerson, and I do think that he has been one of our best players this season, so that is why I'm giving him my Unsung Hero award. This is for the whole team. The all-round performance of the season I would give to Freiburg at home. I wasn't actually there, but we won 5-0, 5-1 in aggregate, and the round of 16 of the Europa League second leg to get through to the quarter-finals. And if I had to give a personal performance of the season, I think I'd have to give Paqueta versus Wolves, where he got 3 assists and we won 3-0. It was a perfect day. It was a perfect game for him. And yeah, that sort of December period was where we played some of our best football that whole season. The goal of the season for me was our last goal of the entire season, being Mohamed Kudus versus Man City the other day. That bicycle kick, you don't see them every day. He did actually score a lot of very good goals. Kudus, he had a solo run versus Freiburg. He scored a brilliant goal away at Brentford and lots of other ones from other players that you probably could think about. But I would say Kudus versus Man City is definitely my favourite, and I would say that is my West Ham goal of the season. So finally, my award of signing of the season goes to Mohamed Kudus as well. When he went off for AFCON, we were a completely different team. I know Paqueta wasn't there as well, but we were just a completely different team. And his quality, although it may have lacked in the last couple of weeks, at the start of the season, he proved why he's that good and why we had to buy him from Ajax. And really, I just hope he stays, unlike the rest of them that always move on to a different club. So yeah, I would definitely give my signing of the season to Mohamed Kudus. So that concludes this video. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to like, comment and subscribe. Leave your thoughts down below on if it was a good season or not and who we should sign in the summer to make sure we get better under Julian Lopetegui. Thank you very much and come on you Irons.